Yeah, welcome to the AM News. Here are our top stories. The much anticipated Trades Union Congress-led nationwide demonstration dubbed "We Are Suffering" finally hits ground today. And Ghana's gross domestic products GDP, that is expected to drop due to the organized labor nationwide strike. And then 24th July, 2 years ago, was a very solemn and sad day for Ghana. On that day, sitting President Professor John Evans Mills died, and today Ghana marks the second anniversary of his passing. Here are details of the story. I'll start off with TUC and the demonstration today. The Trades Union Congress is urging all unionized workers to join today's nationwide demonstration to protest the harsh economic conditions in the country. The industrial action dubbed "We Are Suffering" is to be held simultaneously in all 10 regions. It will be the first of its kind in decades.
Kofi Asamoah, in an interview with Joy News, dismissed reports the demonstration is politically motivated, explaining the current state of the economy as enough motivation.
You know, organized labor and these leaders are really mature, and appreciate what the situation is. It doesn't need any politician to motivate us into doing that. The frustrations, and if you take the issues that I've raised, they are real concerns of workers. So I think that statement should be treated with contempt and dealt with it the way it's thrown somewhere. There's no politician who will have to tell us if the face values of our incomes have chiseled out. We don't need a politician to tell us, and we are really beyond the kind of thing that anybody can suspect that what we are doing is politically motivated. I can say with every level of confidence and statement that there is nothing of that sort.
He urged the public to join in the demonstration since it was in the interest of all workers in the country.
We've been engaging government over the period, over the issues, but just because we've come to where we find it very difficult to contain, and as I stated earlier, there's a limit to what we can contain. We are entreating and inviting all workers to participate, both formal and informal. We are equally also inviting the general public who are also feeling the pinch of the economic hardship that we're talking about to join us in at least demonstrating our frustrations.
The Accra leg of the nationwide demonstration is expected to start at 8 a.m. from the Obra spot at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle and will last for about 4 hours.
And we've been asking, what will be the effect of the numerous demonstrations we're having in the country on general development in Ghana? Well, government statistician Dr. Philomena Nyako says Ghana's gross domestic product is likely to suffer should organized labor go ahead with this planned demonstration nationwide Thursday, though she's unable to state how much the economy would lose as a result of the loss in productivity. The ongoing economic survey, IBES, will make it possible for such values to be computed in the future.
When we don't produce goods and services, it affects the gross national product or the gross domestic product. It affects it. And so even 1 day loss, even 1 hour's loss in production can significantly reflect on the GDP, depending on the proportion of contribution of that sector or subsector to the economy. So we expect to see some decline in the GDP if people go on strike and do not work. But and it's possible to disaggregate, but normally we provide the figures at the sector level, not at the individual activity level. So the information is there, it will be there, all right, it will be provided by the various sectors. And so when we get it, we can quantify how much it has affected us. But for now, we are in no position to tell you.
Well, now, the police say they will be holding organizers of today's nationwide demonstration accountable for any mishaps. Police PR DSP Sefazata, in an interview with Joy News, said even though the police will do its best to protect the protesters and the general citizenry, the organizers are expected to fulfill the obligations as agreed.
Acting Director of Public Affairs, DSP Sefazata, said much as the police were constrained, they will provide the necessary security on the day.
When you organize a demonstration and you lead a mass of people, you put yourself in an accountable position. So should anything go amiss, you can't be held responsible. You can't be held accountable for whatever goes amiss. We don't expect that it will degenerate into anything. We expect that the organizers are responsible citizens of the nation. They are good citizens, and for that matter, they are going to ensure that they live by the tenets of the Public Order Act 491, which enjoins organizers of such events to ensure that they manage their following very well, so as not to record any untoward activities.
He added the police administration has put in place measures to ensure a peaceful event.
Would have preferred that they staggered it or handle over the demonstration. And because we are duty bound, we are mandated to protect such events. We cannot renege on our responsibilities. We have to carry out our mandate. We have been putting measures in place. We have been getting ourselves ready for this period. So now we are ready to police the demonstration within our means, within our constrained means, as we communicated earlier.
Today, Thursday, July 24, 2014, marks 2 years since the death of Ghana's third president and of the Fourth Republic, Professor John Evans Atta-Mills. A wreath-laying ceremony at the Asomdwee Park, where he was interred, and a public lecture in his honor have been scheduled to commemorate the day, which also coincides with a nationwide demonstration by labor groups. Former communications director at the presidency and aide to the late president, Kwaku Anyidoho, had hoped the demonstration would have been moved to honor the memory of his former boss, but it didn't happen. He is, however, hopeful Ghanaians would pay homage nonetheless.
When the news team visited the Asomdwee Park, the facility was being readied for the wreath-laying ceremony. Kwaku Anyidoho, member of the planning committee for the second Atta-Mills Memorial Lectures, talks about the activities planned for Thursday.
Oh, last year was a bit more of a high thing. You know, the hype, the pomp and pageantry was a lot. This year is a bit of a low-key. Tomorrow we are having the remembrance and wreath-laying ceremony here at the Asomdwee Park. You can see that we are almost ready for it. And that's at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then at 3 o'clock, we'll have the second memorial lecture at the College of Physicians and Surgeons. And Dr. Chambers will be delivering the lecture, will be the main speaker. Yeah. So that's it for tomorrow. We have made a moral appeal to Comrade Kofi Asamoah and his group that tomorrow is 24th, and if they find space in their heart, they should allow it to pass. We hope they will. If they don't, this event will still come on. Both will still come on.
He said the family of the late president appears to be coping with the loss, but will not comment on whether they are being adequately supported by the state.
We are all remembering President Mills because while here, he did what he had to do. It's up to you and I to also do what we have to do, what we have to do properly. So when we are no more, people will also remember us positively. So he's gone, we are remembering him. We will continue to do so in the years ahead. But until now is fine. The son Kofi just left here. Kadman is around, so the family is doing fine. And
Professor John Evans Atta Mills became president in 2009 after narrowly winning a runoff vote, having unsuccessfully run for the top office in 2 previous elections. Before his political career, he taught at the University of Ghana and also was a visiting lecturer at Temple University in Pennsylvania and Leiden University in the Netherlands. Mills's death came a few days after he celebrated his 68th birthday. It was the first time in the history of Ghana that a president had died in office.
Vice President Kwesi Amissah-Arthur has presented the final report from the Senchi Accord to President John Mahama with a justification for the delays. At a brief ceremony at the Flagstaff House, President John Mahama said he will ensure the recommendations are implemented to prevent a recurrence of the country's economic troubles.
I formally present a copy of the report to you, Mr. President, as the culmination of the work that was done both in Senchi and after Senchi. There have been quite a number of criticisms from the media and from other people about the delay in the presentation of this report. The critical aspect of the report was not just in packaging it for reading, not something that was going to be done from the government side. We needed to maintain the involvement of the participants of the process. And we tried, as we got along, to get them to read the reports as they were being finalized.
Vice President Kwesi Amissah-Arthur catalogued developments post-Senchi, including the Bank of Ghana's review of its forex measures, which he says were informed by the recommendations.
But even as we prepared the report, the government agencies were not idle. On 16 June, the Bank of Ghana formally reviewed the notices that it had issued on the 4th of February. Last week, on the 17th of July, the Finance Minister presented the media review, and in it, he revised some of the macroeconomic objectives to more realistic targets and to ensure that these will be achieved and that the credibility will be restored to the budget process.
He said a crucial aspect of the report was participatory implementation, hence the establishment of an advisory committee to oversee the process.
This spirit of participation is captured in the formation of what we call the IAG as a public interest body to ensure the participatory oversight on the implementation of this report. We also developed an implementation matrix to guide the members of the group. Our hope is that with the presentation of the report today, it will become a turning point in the economic management of this country, where we seek broad participation in the major objectives and we go forward as a nation.
President John Mahama said the delays were to ensure accuracy and pledged a successful implementation of the report.
Also, it's taking a lot of pains to ensure that the report accurately reflected the sense of what happened at Senchi. And so I think that even though it's taking some time, the quality of the work that we'll see in this report will justify the long waiting period that Ghanaians have had to exercise. I'm enjoined as president to provide a national development framework to Parliament before the end of this year. And the NDPC and our team are busy working on this framework. And I wish to assure the country that the discussions at Senchi would be a very, very distinct flavor in the kind of development framework that we intend to present to Parliament. I want to say, going forward, Senchi would strengthen our economic management. I want to thank everybody for the work that they did and to assure the whole country that we would implement this report.
A minute's silence was held in honor of late presidential advisor Paul Victor Obeng, who is said to have played a pivotal role in the Senchi Accord. The Senchi Accord was necessitated by the series of economic challenges facing the country. Experts from all facets of society, including opposition party representatives, were invited in May this year to propose measures to help stabilize the economy. After a long wait, the much-anticipated Senchi report is now out. What people are critically concerned about is about the implementation and how fast that implementation will yield result. Gifty Andropia, Joy News, Flagstaff House.
Inflation in the production of goods and services in Ghana saw a 33.1% increase in June 2014. In June 2014, the highest since 2010. This, the Ghana Statistical Service says, was largely due to the high inflation recorded in the manufacturing and utility subsectors.
The highest year-on-year producer price inflation PPI of 33.1% represents a marginal increase over the May 2014 figure, with a monthly inflation rate of 0.7%. Although the utility subsector recorded the highest year-on-year PPI rate of 56.9%, followed by the mining and quarrying subsector with 37.3%, the Ghana Statistical Service explains the manufacturing sector with the least rate of 27.1% contributed greatly to the high PPI.
Manufacturing forms about 2/3. The weight is about 2/3 of the basket. But here we are seeing that the change rate has fallen from 27.5% in May to 27.1% in June. However, because of the weight in the basket, its effect is higher than the effect of the other sectors. And we also know that utility forms about 16% of the basket. So when it's up, it will be high. So when you compare the two, the manufacturing sector accounts for the largest.
The Ghana Statistical Service also expects the PPI of July to go up.
In July, for example, we saw that there were increases in utilities. All things being equal, we'll expect the PPI to go up. But, you know, nothing stays stable, so we cannot be very sure what the direction will be. Whether it will go up or it will go down, it all depends. But if everything remains the same, we all are aware that utility prices went up, so we would expect some slight increments.
The petroleum price index for June 2014 meanwhile declined to 44.7% due to the basis drift effect from the increase in prices of petroleum products.
That's it from me for now this morning. The show continues with Benedict Owusu, who comes up next with sports. My name is Kemini Nyamani Amana. Good morning.
Well, good morning and welcome to Sports on the AM show. So we do some sports news now, and we start here in Ghana. And Accra Heart of Oak have ended their search for a substantive head coach as the board settled on ex-Interallies coach Herbert Addo after a crunch meeting yesterday. Now, this will be Herbert Addo's second stint in charge of the Phobians and replaces Mohamed Polo at the helm.
Checks by Joy Sports have revealed Hearts of Oak would unveil coach Herbert Addo as their new coach after the board confirmed his appointment at a crucial meeting today. The experienced trainer has been involved in advanced talks to secure his return to the Phobians for the past 2 weeks. Addo is largely credited for helping Inter-Allies escape relegation in last season's Premier League when they looked destined to go down. Hearts of Oak have been in the hunt for a new coach following the expiration of the short-term contract of Mohamed Polo at the end of last season. The club has now resolved to hand the job to Herbert Addo on a 2-year contract after briefly assessing their options. He will be earning a monthly salary of 8,000 Ghana cedis.
So Herbert Addo will be unveiled later today as the coach of Accra Heart of Oak going into the next Premier League season. And last season's Ghana Premier League top scorer Augustine Okra, you know, and Asante Kotoko's Abeku Innocent are among nominees for this season's MTN FA Cup Best Player Award. The MTN FA Cup committee has released nominees for all award categories and fixed August 9 for the ceremony at the State House in Accra.
The FA Cup committee has released a shortlist of various award categories featuring performers like Augustine Okra and Abeku Edison, who starred in the 2013-2014 MTN FA Cup competition. Star performance in the FA Cup competition will be rewarded on August 9 during the award ceremony at the banquet hall of the State House in Accra. Bichim United's Augustine Okra and Innocent from Kotoko will battle Gold Stars Elvis Opoku and Issa Yakubu, also of Kotoko, for the award. However, Opoku will face no competition for the top scorer prize after finishing tops with 7 goals. The nomination continues the tradition of officially recognizing the impact made by footballers and clubs who participated in the cup competition. Asante Kotoko won the FA Cup after beating Inter Allies to record their 8th cup success. Other award categories include Defender of the Year, Goalkeeper of the Year, Top Scorer of the Year, Highest Scoring Club, Referee and Assistant Referee of the Year, Coach of the Year, Discovery of the Year, Goal of the Year, and Fair Play Award.
So let's do some women football now. 25 players have been selected into Ghana's senior women's team. I'm talking about the Black Queens to begin preparations for the 2014 African Women's Championship in Namibia later. The Black Queens, paired with South Africa, Cameroon and Algeria in Group B, will take place in the tournament that will be staged in Namibia from October 11th to 24. Coach Yusuf Basigi will start preparations with the called-up players at the Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence in Pram Pram. That's from Tuesday, 29 July 2014. The invited players are to report at the center, that's the Ghanaman Soccer of Excellence in Pram Pram, at 4 p.m.